Hey guys, welcome back. Blue here. I know it's been a long time since we've uploaded any new videos to this channel for the Console Pro News, but we're back and exciting to tell you that this year we'll be covering two new esports. We've done away with Paladins. It's not something that is really growing in itself. And plus, we've kind of moved on from that community. We thank everyone who has joined us for all of our Paladins content, our breakdowns, all of our videos that we've made, power rankings, and all of that stuff as well. The website was kind of revamped to eliminate all of that historic stuff. We still have it all backed up in our drives and stuff like that. And who knows, maybe in the future we could step towards bringing Paladins back, but for right now we're focusing on other communities who we think could use some of what we gave to Paladins. We think those communities could use that too. But anyways, we will be working on some Rogue Company stuff coming in the future. That's still under NDA at the moment, but exciting news. Today we're going to be talking about PUBG Mobile, specifically the Asia division. There are two regions, essentially divisions, whatever you want to call it. There's Asia and then there's the Americas. So Asia is China and India and really all one collective is Asia, and Southeast Asia is thrown in there as well. And then for the Americas, you have North American teams going up against Latin American and South American teams, so they're all in one division as well. There's 20 teams spread across 5 groups. If you guys aren't familiar, the way they do it is they have scrims for each division. So they have 4 weeks of scrims. They split them in 2. So 2 weeks, or the first 2 weeks of scrims is scrims season 1, and then season 2 of scrims is the very next 2 weeks. So it's all 4 weeks together. But what they do is they have 4 nights each week where they do scrims. They have 5 matches each night. And since there's 20 teams, one group will sit out one time for one match, and then they will play the other 4. So they rotate that way, and it gives everyone a chance to get the same amount of games in as well. And they do that 4 nights a week, and actually they actually give prize pools for scrims. So if you win scrims, then you end up taking home some money, as well as with 2nd and 3rd place. And then after scrims, they start up with the season, and the Asian bracket the Asian division has already started for South Asia. Season 1, it's from May 22nd to June 14th. We're about 3 days behind, but they've already started. They're already going. So we're going to talk about some of those teams real quick. The teams that are in it, let's go ahead and take a look. We have Group A. Group A deals with TSM and Entity. They are actually one team. They joined forces for PUBG Mobile. And then you have Marcos Gaming, Team Hype, and I want to say Celts, but it's probably Celts. Nonetheless, Celts hasn't been looking very good through scrims at all. I think their best finish was 20th. There were extra teams in the South Asia scrim sessions, actually. I think there was a whole nother group's worth, another 4 teams. I think FaZe was part of that. There was some other teams in there as well, which is very surprising to me that those teams didn't make it, but it was because they didn't qualify, so that makes sense, I guess. So the teams that did direct qualify in this group were TSM, Entity, and then Marcos Gaming came from the Club Open India, as well as Celts, and Team Hype came from the Club Open South Asia. So those teams are in there for that. But we're taking a look at this group. TSM Entity, I think, is the best team in this group by far. They probably have the best players in this region, actually, in Neo, Jonathan, and Clutch God. I mean, Jonathan's insane. He was the kill leader for the entire week for scrims, I think 3 out of the 4 times. If not, he was up there in the top 4. So that guy, insane. Neo, really good too. He's up there right now, actually, in the kill leaders overall for the first 3 or 4 days of the actual season. So he really stepped up his game. Clutch God making some really good plays, winning a lot of gunfights in the scrim sessions as well. And they also have Z God. He's a good player on the back end. I think he normally plays support. It's really tough to catch these games. They play them really early in the morning, considering they play on IST time, which is India Standard Time. And, I live on the East Coast of the NA, so really hard for me to catch those games. But I do watch them back. They stream these on YouTube, so we get to take a look at those. Marco's Gaming, little bit of an iffy squad as well with Team Hype. They kind of go back and forth. Sometimes they do good, sometimes they don't do as well. More often than not, both of those teams don't do as well. I think the highest that Marcos Gaming placed in a week of scrims was 4th overall. TSM Entity, they placed 1st, 3rd, and then I think their worst was a 13th, but that was kind of an off week for them. They had some really bad rotations off of 2nd and 3rd circles, especially on maps like Miramar. It really didn't favor them. Team Hype, though, best finish they had was 17th place. Not looking good for that team. Venom, Captain Gurkha YT, I think is one of their best players. SK49, watching him, I can see that he's good, but I just think that he needs to really step it up. Because when I watch him, I look at him and I'm like, okay, his mechanics are not working as well as his IQ in this game right now, if you can understand what I'm saying. And then we have Celts. And Celts not looking good at all. Their best finish was 20th. And I think their worst finish was 23rd, if I recall. Not looking too good for this team. No one on this team really stands out to me either. I think they were the 12th seed coming in to this season before scrims. But that was because they came from the Club Open in their region. But I don't know. This team not looking good to me at all. Now let's head into Group B. We have Team Soul, Team Tamales, Instinct Esports, and VSG Crawlers. This is actually a really interesting group. Coming into this, you have Team Soul at the 14, Team Tamales at the 9, Instinct at 20th, and VSG Crawlers are coming in at 15th. But in their actual scrim sessions, they were doing pretty well. I mean, Team Soul, not so much. Their best finish was 17th, but they do have good players on their team. Mortal, Viper, all good fraggers and could be, 5, 6, 7 kills each per game. If they can get just their rotations down pat. They tend to try and split loot, I believe, a lot, and it doesn't work out for them. Maybe if they tried not to split loot, it would work out better for them. They did finish last place during scrims for 1 week. They came in 24th. Team Tamales, though, finished 9th at one point. They finished 8th at another week, and then 20th in the week after that. So they went from 8th to 20th in a 1 week difference. Kind of a big difference, actually, especially with 24 teams. I think they have some room to improve as well. Specifically on the back of Manti OP. Manti OP was one of the kill leaders that week. He was top 5 for total kills for an entire week of scrims. But I don't believe he was actually in the starting lineup for this team. They have Striker, Mr. Spray, Maxi, and Carry OP. I think they moved Manti in there, and once they did, they started to play better. When they had Manti in there, he was getting a lot of frags. That's when they finished 9th and 8th. So look for Manti and Carry, both with OP in their name, to be working together there. Instinct Esports' best finish was 6th place, and VSG Crawler's best was 9th. So this is an interesting group because none of the teams are really that good, but none of them are that bad. I mean, they're not as bad as like Celts. So this group, actually one of the groups that could potentially be an underdog and be kind of a Cinderella, because if you're in this group and you're playing, you know that the other 3 teams are playing as well, and that gives you better chances. So if you can step your game up as any one of these teams, then you could make some plays with the way it goes. I mean, if I'm in that group, I'm trying to improve because that's 3 teams I can beat easily. So that's 3 better spots, better points, Let's move on to Group C. Group C, Synergy, Megastars. I'm going to butcher this name, but I'm going to say it's either Jin Mara or Jan. We're going to go with Jin Mara, though. And then we have another one I'm going to butcher, Umbra Esports RXN. Now, Umbra came in as the #1 seed. I believe they came from the Club Open India. Yes, they did. And their best finish was 10th. Jin Mara best was 9th. Synergy's best was 10th. And the Megastars' best was 3rd. So at first glance, I would think that the Megastars would do the best here. But then as I watch the games progress, I don't like their rotations. Jin Mara doesn't really they don't really utilize the utilities enough, smokes and vehicle movements and stuff like that, especially late game. Umbra, they're kind of off and on. They just can't win gunfights, it seems. They have good rotations. They have good utility use. They have good landing spots on all the maps. They have good ways that they loot together, and then they've also split loot as well. A couple times it's worked out here and there for them. But Synergy is really the team for me in this group. I think that they can take this group, and I think that they can be a top contender in the league overall, which is going to be interesting. Now moving on to Group D. Group D, Team IND. This was a team I really liked to watch during the scrims. Their best finish was 5th. You have Orange Rock as well, who also's best finish was 5th. But Orange Rock also finished 7th and 6th. So they were right near each other, near themselves every time in the standings. They were doing something that was working on a consistent basis. Now they just need to find a way to improve it to get better, and I think that they will. Deadeyes Guys are also in this group, and Fnatic. Now we talked about Celts being just an awful team. I think Deadeyes Guys are probably the worst team out of all 20 in the South Asia division. Sorry, not sorry, but they don't look good at all. Nobody on that team does. Group D, though, it's kind of wide open. You have Fnatic as well. Scout OP from Fnatic. Big frags coming out of him. But other than that, Fnatic's been quiet so far. Deadeyes Guys, irrelevant. Orange Rock, though, making some moves in scrims. Consistent, scoring on all aspects of the field. I think that they can move up here. I think Orange Rock can make something happen for themselves, be a top 3 team. Group D, Team IND, Kratos, Translator, and Snacks. I think this is a good lineup. I've seen all of them play already, and I think that Snacks is pretty insane on this team. Maybe if he was on a better team, he'd be the best player in this division, but I think Austin X and Ted from Synergy are going to have something to say about that. By the way, Ted streams on YouTube. I've been watching his POV as well during the scrims. That guy's insane, Ted from Synergy. But in this group, I think IND is the best team right now, but I think Orange Rock could potentially be the better team towards the end of the season. And then with Group E, we have Powerhouse, Godlike, Team Xtreme, and Elementrix. Now, Godlike is actually in first place right now in the league after the first week, and I wouldn't have thought this at first, but we'll get to that in a moment. Team Xtreme, kind of not on my radar. They made some plays here and there a couple days during scrims, but it was like, wow, Team Xtreme is making these plays on this day, and then for the next 7 days they don't do anything, and then they pop up again and do something that day, and then for the next 4 days they don't do anything again. Elementrix, though, is going to be my favorite team as a fan because they have a player named Poo Poo Man. And obviously, when you have a pro player named Poo Poo Man, we expect big things from your team. So go Poo Poo Man. But in all seriousness, Elementrix, kind of a dark horse if you ask me, and not just because of the guy Poo Poo Man. Elementrix, they look good, but they just get the short end of the stick, it seems, all the time. And I think that they could make a play. And then we have Powerhouse. Powerhouse, I didn't really pay attention to them too much, so I'm not even going to lie or make anything up. I did see Nova King make a couple plays, but that was about it. Clearly, in my opinion, I think the best team or the best 3 teams in this league before going into this were Godlike, Orange Rock, and Synergy. But I don't know anymore. So let's go ahead and take a look at what's actually happened at the start of this season already. So in first place is Godlike. Everyone's played 16 matches so far. This is, well, it says post-match 20, but unsure what that actually means. So every team's played 16 matches pretty much. And Godlike already with 3 wins, 3 map wins, 3 chicken dinners, you may call them. Orange Rock also has another 4 to their name. So big wins from the top 2 teams. They get a lot of points placing that high, and then their kills not too far behind. Look at Godlike has 99, and then not too far behind with 91 is Orange Rock. I told you Orange Rock could make a play. TSM Entity, huge plays from them. Not enough to win as many as Godlike and Orange Rock, but they're right behind Orange Rock with 86 kills. So it's not too far behind. As you go down the list, though, you start to see that there's a lot of teams that are gathering a lot of points just from placing. I mean, look at Powerhouse. They have 42 kills, and they're only 2 total points behind Team Soul, who have 19 more kills than them. So the kills really adding to some of these teams that can't really place that high, but it's kind of a double-edged sword, Do you go for a lot of kills and try and go place as high as you can? Sometimes it doesn't work out. But Synergy right up there in 4th as well. IND, Umumba Esports. Oh, that's how you say that. VSG Crawlers. Why didn't I just look at that at the beginning? Fnatic, Soul, and Powerhouse rounding out the top 10. And then, as you can see, in last place, 20th place, with only 20 kills through 16 matches, is Deadeyes Guy. Team Hype down there as well. And our boy Poo Poo Man in Elementrix in 17th. Not looking too good. Actually, Kelt being in 15th above Jin Mara and Instinct is pretty impressive to me starting off. But it's only the first week. We have until June 14th, I believe. So long season. Not too long, but a lot of games to be played still. Team Xtreme, Team Tamilis, Marcos Gaming. Marcos Gaming is another one of those like dark horse teams that could do good, could not do bad. I mean, they have 60 kills. And if you go back, I mean, to what I was saying before, Team Soul, 61 kills in 9th place. They've gotten 77 points off of placing. So, I mean, if Marcos can just get a couple better placements in some matches, they have already gotten a chicken dinner. So is Team Xtreme. Kelts actually has won a game, and Elementrix, so Poo Poo Man pulling up strong right there. But like I was saying, if Marcos Gaming can get some better placements, maybe even get a couple more wins, or finish top 3, they could definitely move up. They're already in the, the 60. Excuse me, they're already above. They're gonna be above 60 in the next match, unless they all go donuts. But they're not that far behind to begin with. They have 133. Team Soul has 138. So it's a close match. I mean, theoretically, Marcos could probably make it to 7th in one match. That's how close these games are and how close these standings are for these teams. But let's go ahead and take a look at Godlike here, since they are in first place. Smokey, 28 kills in the first week. Oh my goodness. And then you have Gil, and I'm just gonna call this guy Raj. Raj. Dude, killing it. 22 kills from him, both of them. And then King with 16, and look at this. They're utilizing a 5th player, and their 5th player can get 11 kills with 1700 plus damage in 10 matches. Insane. I mean, they're switching. Obviously, they're switching out Raj and Kings with Cronton, and they're playing this kind of different lineup every time. Depending on what map they're playing, I'm gonna have to go back and see who's playing on which maps and how they're utilizing this substitute this fifth man kind of thing. But it seems to be working out for them. They're in first place. They've got tons of kills. I mean, Smokey, absolutely smoking the competition. Let's take a look at some of the kill leaders overall from all of the teams. And of course, Smokey, number 1 with 28 from Godlike. Number 2, I told you, Neo from TSM Entity. He's got 27. He's only 1 behind. He's done way more damage than Smokey as well. So he is putting out a lot of damage every single match. And then his teammate, number 3 with 25 kills, also more damage, doing a ton of damage. Smokey's just OP, man. Smokey can just hit his shots. Doesn't have to do a bunch of damage. He confirms his kills. That's what that tells me. He confirms his knocks. And then you have, oh goodness, I don't know how to say that name. The guy in 4th place. We're going to call him Algi. I think that's an A-L-J-I. Man, this is rough for someone from North America. 25 kills, though. He's doing really good for Orange Rock. And then his teammate, Mavu, with 24 as well. Only person who does not have more damage than Smokey, to point out again, is Algi, number 4. But, again, damage doesn't really tell the story. You got to get those kills. Got to get those kills and those placements. So, obviously, Asia, pretty competitive. Everybody within about the 5th to maybe 15th spot are really neck and neck. They're still all in this. Nowhere to tell who is going to win so far. But Godlike, Synergy, Orange Rock, all playing very, very well. It's actually, and TSM Entity, excuse me, almost left them out with 2 of the top fraggers in week 1. Playing really, really well. I can't wait to watch more, especially of Jonathan and Smokey. And Neo, too. Neo stepping up big during the regular season. Was kind of quiet during the scrim sessions, but here he is now. But that pretty much sums it up. We'll put out another video, covering the second week with some more in-depth stuff as well. We kind of had to fit these are the teams into this one, the little preview to the season, but we're a little late, so it's kind of like the preview during the season, before the season, if you get what I mean. Anyways, we're going to be coming out with a video. The Americas are still doing scrims. I believe they have 5 more days worth. So that is a week and 1 day, which means that tonight, actually Sunday, will be day 4 of the second season. So day 4 of the first week. But we've got some exciting teams to talk about. That there's some big question marks on some teams that would be expected to be good, some that expected to be bad, and there's a lot of trash talk going on Twitter about this Americas league as well. It's awesome. It's like Latin America versus North America, and or it's South America, excuse me, just going against each other. There's a bunch of memes too. They're like taking clips from movies where people are like sizing each other up and like put the gaming logos on their heads and stuff. It's good. But don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Let us know what you guys think, how we can improve on PUBG Mobile Esports, and what teams you are looking out for. Yeah, just comment below what team you like in the South Asia division of PUBG Mobile. And if you haven't downloaded the game, make sure you download the game. It's actually really fun to play, despite it being a mobile game. I had doubts too. You guys know I play console, I play PC. I stepped on the mobile battlegrounds. Let's just say I'm hooked, baby. I bought the battle pass in 1 day. Day one. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, keep grinding.